Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shonda Harris, and I'm a business opportunity specialist with the Columbus District Office of the SBA, and we want to welcome you to today's webinar. It is the last webinar in our Ohio Business Matchmaking webinar series. I can't believe that we are at the end, but we are definitely in for a treat today. We want to welcome you to today's session. We are going to be focusing on the SBA and DoD Mentor Protégé Programs, and then we will cap it off with a panel with two mentors and their protégés. So we're grateful that you joined us today. And if you are new to, and this is your first time joining us, definitely want to welcome you. And believe that you'll find this very insightful and very informative to help you as you prepare for the Ohio Business Matchmaker next week. I can't believe that the matchmaker is next week. And so some of you may be wondering, what is the Ohio Business Matchmaker? I'm so glad that you asked. It is our largest signature contracting event that allows Ohio small businesses to interact with government agencies and prime contractors to get opportunities for growth and opportunities to government contracts. So these trainings, we provide an opportunity for you as a small business to learn about procurement opportunities and to help you to succeed and be competitive in the government contracting market. And so if you're new to this space, or maybe if you've only been doing business at the local level and you're looking to start doing business at the federal level, we are grateful that we have a partner that we work with that will be able to assist you in giving you more information and to help you along your government contracting journey. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Joey Scott, who serves as the statewide manager for the Ohio Apex Accelerator. And Joey's going to give you an overview about Apex Accelerator, who they are and what they do, and then how they can assist you on your journey, and then also help you to prepare for the matchmaker next week. And then I believe after that, we are going to go, I'll just go ahead and give Joey the floor. Today's session, after Joey gives an overview, he's going to go ahead and just give information about one of our topics today, which is the DoD Mentor Protégé Program. So Joey, if you want to go ahead and take it from here, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Shonda. I really appreciate it. As you heard, I'm Joey Scott. I'm the statewide director for the Ohio Apex Accelerator. Before I begin, just want to thank both Jill and Shonda and all of our partners for the collaboration on this webinar series, the Ohio Business Matchmaker itself next week, and just all of the support that they give us throughout the year in partnership with the Ohio Apex Accelerator. So, we do a lot of events, both virtual, in person, a lot of collaboration opportunities, a lot of assisting clients through the nitty-gritty of government contracting, whether it be Mentor Protégé, business certifications, 8A program, or anything else. So really, really do appreciate both Jill and Shonda and all that they do. Apex Accelerators. Hopefully you're all familiar with who we are. I've been giving this little intro on each of these webinars so far as part of the series, but just to briefly reiterate who we are, we're funded in part by the Department of Defense and the state of Ohio to help businesses with all things government contracting. I know that sounds pretty broad, so I like to put our services into three buckets: helping companies become procurement ready, helping them experience procurement success, and staying in the government marketplace. So on that front end, helping companies really position themselves for success and becoming procurement ready. We can help companies through registering in SAM, the System for Award Management, if you're looking to do business with the federal government. We can help you through state of Ohio supply registration in Ohio buys, any other state. So just keep in mind, federal government has their registration portals, and states also have theirs. So we can assist you through all of that. Business certifications, we can help you through analyzing if that makes sense for your business, if there's opportunities in there, and we can help guide you through the process for federal and state business certifications. And if you missed the webinar earlier in the series, we had a session dedicated specifically to federal and state small business certifications. So please check that out if you get the chance. We can also help companies develop and refine their capability statement. So just like how we as individuals have a resume, your company should have a resume, and that is its capability statement to highlight all that you do and what sets you apart from the competition, and most of all, what successes you have in the government or commercial space. We also have a lot of research that we can help you with, not only teaching you how to conduct your own government research, but also utilizing some resources that we have available to help you better understand what agencies are buying, who is buying it, how, and when. And then we also have a bid search program that we can set up for you that'll bring contract opportunities to your inbox based on keyword search. All of our services, by the way, are free and confidential, so keep that in mind too, please. Procurement success, helping companies achieve success and maintain success. Once you've found an opportunity, we can review it with you, help you understand all the clauses and requirements within that solicitation, and we can also help critique your proposal before you submit it. We cannot write a proposal for you because we are not an agent of your company. However, we can review it with you to make sure it is as competitive and responsive as possible. Then we can also talk strategy, leveraging past performance into future successes and turning one win into multiple wins. And then the third bucket here is staying in procurement. It's kind of a catch-all of helping you keep your position in the government marketplace, from simple things such as renewing your SAM registration, because that is an annual renewal process, to more complex topics such as cybersecurity requirements, especially if you're a defense contractor, helping you understand what those are and what implications they have for future opportunities. We can help you, again, leverage one win into multiple wins, looking at other government customers at the federal, state, and local levels, subcontracting, etc. And then we also can help you through the innovation opportunities, most predominantly known as the Small Business Innovation Research Program, and then any other government-led innovation programs we can assist you through as well. Our federal funders ask us to help raise awareness for some other specific topics like the ones you see on the screen here: foreign ownership, control, and influence, cybersecurity, innovation, and then some niche defense programs such as the Defense Production Act Title III and Industrial Base Analysis and Sustainment Program, otherwise known as IBAS. So, like I said, we can provide services on some more specific government contracting topics. So, just baked into my introduction here, I'd like to talk through the Department of Defense's Mentor Protégé program before highlighting some specialty services and programs we have here in Ohio. You will hear much more in detail from Jill and Shonda on the SBA Mentor Protégé program, but just to give you a glimpse into the DoD program, it is different from the SBA's program. It's similar, though, in many areas, with some slight key differences that I'll touch on. If you're interested in learning more, I have some links in the slides that will be made available to you afterwards as well. So the DoD's Mentor Protégé program was essentially a pilot program for over 30 years, and it just recently became made a program of record, which essentially means that it was allotted dedicated funding and the purpose to continue in the future. As we all know, the government landscape is very chaotic right now, so every program is being questioned. But as it stands right now, this is the DoD Mentor Protégé Program. It exists to essentially provide business development opportunities for small businesses in collaboration with a prime contractor. So the prime contractor provides some guidance and assistance to the smaller business. It helps connect them with some opportunities through subcontracting, but primarily is providing either technical or business development assistance to that small company. So why does it exist? Well, again, primarily to increase participation of small businesses in the defense supplier base. Helping them increase the capabilities of the small businesses to perform on DoD contracts and really facilitate long-term relationships, not just with the mentor and a protege themselves, but also with government buyers and customers down the road. So there's two parts to the DoD Mentor Protégé Program. Similarly to the SBA, there's the mentor and there's the protege. Within the DoD's program, there's certain eligibility requirements for mentor companies. So to be a mentor under the DoD's program, you have to have at least one active contract with an approved subcontracting plan that has been negotiated with the Department of Defense agency or some other federal agency that meets the criteria. Additionally, your company has to have at least $25 million worth of contracts or work performed under defense opportunities in the previous fiscal year, and then also be eligible for future federal contracts. Alternatively, you can be a large prime contractor or an 8A graduate. So, most companies that we're talking to today, I would hazard a guess, is not looking to become a mentor. You are looking, however, to find a mentor and be a protege yourself. So who can be a protege? Well, pretty much any small business that is small based on its industry standards set forth by the SBA size standards. Really the main qualification, there's a lot of bullet points on here, but essentially it boils down to you're a small business who is providing goods or services that are critical to the Department of Defense. So essentially your capabilities meet the needs of the Department of Defense. So what happens through the DoD program? Well, first up, you have to establish a mentor-protege relationship. You have to go out and find that mentor. Nobody is able to help facilitate that. Apex Accelerators, we can help help you through the research, identify companies that might be good mentors, but ultimately you as the small business and the potential protege have to go out and develop that relationship yourself. The DoD makes it very easy in some regards that there's an approved mentor list. So on the DoD's Mentor Protégé Program website, they have a list of approved mentors, so you can utilize that at your disposal as well. As a reminder, mentor company is somebody who has that contract with a subcontracting plan. A protege, again, is the small business therein. The DoD Mentor Protégé Program has two types of agreements. And I think this differs from the SBA's program, where, DoD program, you have a direct reimbursed agreement where the mentor company receives reimbursement of allowable development costs provided to the protege, or a credit agreement where the mentor protege receives credit towards their subcontracting goals, essentially. And so that's one of the key things that sets the DoD program apart from the SBA is where under the DoD program, the mentor may receive some sort of financial reimbursement through the program. Once you've established that relationship, you've developed the agreement, the mentor will submit the agreement to the DoD, who will then review it and decide upon, if it is approved or not, once the agreement is approved, there may be some reporting requirements that the mentor has to provide, but essentially then begins the assistance provided by the mentor to the small business. Again, that varies between general business development assistance to some very technical assistance, and you might see some R&D development, or maybe a protege needs help getting a security clearance to then be able to bid on opportunities. Whatever that may be, it's spelled out within the DoD Mentor Protege Program agreement. So everyone knows exactly how the mentor is helping and what the protege is expecting to receive through that relationship. Again, how to find that mentor. It's a lot of tried and true traditional business development planning. You have to go out and develop that relationship, but always lead with, what benefits or value add do you bring to the table? Right? It's not enough just to say, hey, I'm going to help, you meet your subcontracting goals. You want to lead with what capabilities you have, and also know exactly what assistance you are hoping to receive from the mentor. So that's a little insight into the DoD's Mentor Protege program. Again, and the links in there will take you directly to the portal and some other resources. A few specialty programs I want to highlight in Ohio, just real quick, is the Ohio Procurement Internship Program. We're in our third year right now, and we're heading into the actual company internship part of it. So this program is designed to train students at colleges on government contracting fundamentals, and then they apply that knowledge and skill set within a summer internship for 12 weeks with Ohio businesses. So if that sounds of interest to you, please keep in mind for next year when we open up the company applications. Again, it's a very valuable program that, in addition to receiving an intern who's trained in the fundamentals of government contracting, same way that the Apex Accelerator provides assistance to our clients, the companies can also receive 60% reimbursement of the intern wages. Just to highlight the program stats to date for you. And then the other program I like to highlight, which we talked a lot about last week in the afternoon session, is the Cyber Secure program here in Ohio that is providing free cybersecurity assistance to Ohio small businesses. So for those of you in the defense space, you definitely want to take advantage of this, because you can get there's a set number of hours that you're eligible to receive, but you get free technical cybersecurity assistance through this program. It's a phased approach, so there's a self-paced learning at the beginning, and then you get one-on-one counseling with those cybersecurity experts. For those of you not in the defense space, you could receive up to 15 hours of assistance for free. For those of you that are in the defense space, it's up to 60 hours as well. So I'd really like to highlight that program so that you're aware of it. And then finally, I know I'm running a little bit long here, but we're very proud of our clients, so I like to highlight all that they did. Last year, our clients won over $1.6 billion in government contracts, most of which were federal prime contracts. So we're very proud of our clients and all that they're winning. And last but not least, we are here every step of the way to assist you. So please do not hesitate to reach out to your local Apex Accelerator, whether you are starting out in government contracting or you are a seasoned veteran. We have a lot of assistance, both within our experienced team and the programs that we are affiliated with as well. So if we don't know the answers, we know people that do, or programs that do, so we can definitely get you the assistance you need. And last but not least, there is an Apex Accelerator near you. So whether you're here in Ohio or perhaps you're out of state, please reach out. We'll help you get connected. So I will pause there for any questions on the DoD Mentor Protege program, if we have any.
Looks like we do have one question of how does the changes in DEI affect this program?
It's a very good question, and that's a question on everybody's minds. Definitely, not just applicable to the DoD's Mentor Protege program. Lots of far-reaching impact there. The short answer is nobody knows. So a lot of programs are under review. A lot of programs are being, redesigned or altered in some regard. Time will tell. I wish I had a crystal ball to be able to tell you. The core purpose of the Mentor Protege program is not DEI. It's more to help provide business assistance to small companies looking to expand in the government, specifically DoD space. So that's at its essence. When you look at some of the verbiage and language in it, it may be caught up in all of the executive orders. However, it's just a wait and see situation. What I can tell you is the DoD Mentor Protege program conference was slated for the beginning of April. That was postponed. I don't know how they're refocusing that, but I'd imagine with all the federal travel bans, if they have something in the future, it may be virtual. But just keep an eye on the DoD's Mentor Protege program and see how it evolves. And we always try to keep our clients up to date with the information that we have available as well. So I know that's a lot of words to basically say we have no idea how it's going to play out.
Thank you. I don't see any further questions.
All right. Well, I will be here, so if any other questions come up for the DoD's Mentor Protege program, I'll be able to provide some insight as I'm able. But other than that, I thank you for the time to introduce the Apex Accelerators, the DoD Mentor Protege program, and I will turn it back over to Jill and Shonda to talk more about the SBA's Mentor Protege program.
All right. Thank you very much. I see Shonda's turning her. There she is. All
All
right.
right, let me turn up, I think, my volume as well. And let me share my screen. And let me put this in presentation mode. Jill, let me go back at the end. All right, can you see that?
Yes, you have the SBA logo there. Okay.
I need to move this so I can not be distracted. I am gonna turn off my screen. It'll help me to present better. Yeah, the way this is set up. All right. Again, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, my name is Shonda Harris. I'll turn it on for my, and I am a BOS with the Columbus SBA, and I will be presenting on the SBA Mentor Protege program. Thank you, Joey, for sharing about DoD. All right, and here we go. So I'm just going to give a little bit of an overview, and this is just kind of a general overview, general definition of a Mentor Protege program. It's essentially designed to enhance a company's, a small business's capabilities and their core competencies It's the Small Business Mentor Protege program is designed to enhance the capabilities of protege firms by requiring an approved mentor to provide business development assistance to protege firms and to improve the protege firm's ability to successfully compete for federal contracts. And again, this is a definition for the SBA Mentor Protege program as it relates to federal government contracting. And so this was taken from 13 CFR 125.9. And so this assistance can include 6 different areas. And so on the next slide, I'm going to go into those in a little bit more detail. But in these different areas, essentially, a mentor can provide assistance to a protege to help them build their capacity or their capability in order to go after a contract. So mentors are encouraged to provide this assistance, again, to help the protege firm to perform on contracts that are set aside for small business or any of the small business set-asides, and again, to enhance their capabilities or to grow their capabilities or core competencies. And I'm just going to give just a little overview and highlight a couple areas. I'm not going to go into depth, just so that we can have enough time to hear from our panel. So what are some of the program benefits? So a protege, and that is a small business that's seeking assistance from a mentor, can gain valuable experience, expertise as it relates to business development from their mentor in 6 key areas. So the SBA has outlined that mentors can provide proteges assistance as it relates with management and technical assistance. So anything regarding that small business's accounting system, their marketing and manufacturing assistance, or with strategic planning. In addition to that, financial assistance. So equity investments, loans, and bonding. We don't see as much with this, but that is a type of assistance that a firm can receive. And you definitely want to probably get maybe a little bit of guidance from one of us at SBA as it relates to that in the form of maybe equity investment or loan, just to ensure that that mentor does not have enough control over your company to where they would have, there may be affiliation. So you definitely maybe want to check with us to make sure that you have the right percentages if you are looking to get financial assistance from your mentor. In addition, contracting assistance. So if you're new to the federal government and you're looking to gain entrance into the federal market and you need assistance with bidding, acquisition, or the overall federal procurement process, you can look and you can get that assistance from your mentor. International trade education, business development assistance, and that business development assistance, anything as it relates to contracting, looking for opportunities, and then just general admin assistance, HR assistance, security clearance or support. In addition to this, one of the probably the biggest benefit, or probably maybe the most popular, is that proteges and mentors can enter into a joint venture relationship. And if you weren't on the first webinar we did today at 10 o'clock, definitely want to make sure that you go back and you look at the recording for that. We talked a lot about joint ventures, and essentially a joint venture is 2 firms coming together, forming a new entity, and that new entity can take on the past performance of both joint venture parties. And so that mentor and protege can enter into a joint venture, and then that joint venture can go after and bid on contracts. And so in that joint venture relationship, the majority managing member of that joint venture, if they happen to have a certification, 8A, SDVOSV, Woman-Owned, or HubZone, then that joint venture will take on and that particular set-aside or that particular set-aside. And so that joint venture will be, if that managing member is 8A and SDVOSV, then the joint venture will take on both of those certifications. So the joint venture will be 8A and SDVOSV, which means the joint venture can pursue 8A and SDVOSV contracts. So that's definitely important as it relates to one of the benefits. All right, program qualifications. So to qualify, and I'll just put these side by side again, just to kind of simplify everything. To qualify as a protege, the proteges do have to be small. And when we say small at the In federal government, we mean that according to the SBA size standards, there's a size standard chart. So depending on your industry and your NAICS code, your North American Industry Classification System, you do have to be small according to the size standards chart. And you already have to have a mentor that you have already selected. You can't look to enter into the Mentor Protégé program and come to SBA and say, hey, SBA, I need a mentor. Can you find a mentor for me? That is the responsibility of the small business to identify that proposed mentor. The small business does have to be for-profit business. And then generally, the small business cannot have more than 2 mentors in the lifetime of that firm. So at any time, they can maybe enter into a mentor-protégé relationship that may last the 6 years, and then maybe down the road, they may want to enter into another relationship. So they only have 2 times to be able to enter into a mentor-protégé relationship during the lifetime of that business. All right, to qualify as a mentor, the mentor must be a for-profit business. Unlike one of the qualifications for protégé, that mentor can be small, or the mentor can be large, a large company, or the federal government calls large companies other than small. So they have to be able to carry out its responsibilities. So we'll go over the areas that we just mentioned, those 6 areas. So that mentor should have past performance, should have the ability to experience that they can share with the protégé. They should already be able to possess that. They can't appear on the federal list of debarred or suspended contractors. Definitely important. They have to possess good character, and that mentor can have no more than 3 protégés at a time. That is important. And so if a mentor is looking to get more than that, they will have to either wait for that one of those mentor-protégé relationships that they're in to finish, or they may have to exit out of that mentor-protégé agreement, but they can't have more than 3 at a time. All right, additional qualifications for the protégé. Now, the protégé may have more than 1 mentor at a time, but this does have to get approval from SBA. And so what happens is that protégé has to speak, if they're looking for 2 different mentors, each mentor has to be able to provide some type of assistance, but it has to be under a different NAICS code. So if they're already in one mentor-protégé relationship and they had a NAICS code, maybe that was related to, I have a firm that one of their mentor-protégé relationships, it is for, they're an environmental firm. So their mentor and their mentor-protégé agreement is set up with an environmental NAICS code. Now that firm did, but I believe they were in that mentor-protégé relationship maybe for 4 years, and then they wanted to seek out another mentor. The second mentor that they sought after, they started to expand their core competencies and added some NAICS codes for construction. So the second mentor that they were looking to pursue had background, they were a GC, and so their NAICS codes were in construction. And so they were able to get a second mentor because that mentor had a different NAICS code. And so they were going to be seeking or pursuing contracts in a different area, in a different industry. So also the protégé firm is seeking to acquire specific expertise that the first mentor does not possess. So in addition to having a different NAICS code, again, as the example that I gave, the firm that I work with, the protégé was looking to get experience outside of their what they were their primary NAICS code in the environmental area. They were looking to gain experience with construction and construction related contracts. And so that first mentor did not possess that. And so they sought after another mentor that could provide that expertise. All right, so applying to the program. So the Mentor Protégé program is not a matchmaking program. And again, if you're a protege or potential protege and you're looking for a mentor, you do have to have already sought that mentor on your own. And when you are looking to apply, you already have to have that mentor already lined up. And you can't look to SBA to provide you with a mentor or give you a list of suggestions. So you must be approved by the SBA to participate in its Mentor Protégé program. So currently that application is submitted through certified.sba.gov. You do need to have a profile in SAM, the System for Award Management, before you can start the application process. So when you go on the website to apply, there's actually a profile that you have to fill out first in order to, before you start your application. And just want to know that the Mentor Protégé program is still on Certify. I know, and some of you may be aware that My SBA Certifications is the new portal where all federal certifications are submitted. So if you're looking to apply for 8A, HubZone, Woman-Owned, and Veteran-Owned, SDVOSB and VOSB, that's done through My SBA Certifications. At some point, right now the system is not set up to process the Mentor Protégé applications. And so this still is on Certify. I did speak with someone in the Mentor Protégé program last week, assisting one of my firms. And so I'm sure at some point, maybe later on this year, perhaps in the summer, it will transition to My SBA Certifications, but currently it is still on the certified.sba platform. So before you apply, some of the things that you do need to consider, of course, you do have to be registered in SAM, and don't want to take for granted that some of you may be on here and you may be wondering, well, what is SAM? If you're new to federal government contracting, the System for Award Management is the vendor portal where all federal vendors must be registered. So you do have to be registered in SAM, and you do have to successfully have your UEI, your unique entity identifier. It's like a social security number for your business. You also have to have your cage code. So in addition to registering in SAM, deciding whether you are applying for an MPA using your primary or secondary NAICS. So you can decide which NAICS codes that you want to apply to the Mentor Protégé program. So your primary NAICS is essentially where the majority of your revenue is coming from. And you can have secondary or tertiary NAICS, but you will decide which NAICS code that you want to register with the program as it relates to the assistance that you're going to be seeking from your mentor, and probably ultimately maybe what contracts you're looking to enter into a joint venture, what contracts you're looking to pursue. So both businesses, both the protege and the mentor, must complete the SBA's online tutorial. So that tutorial is set up, and I believe once you go through it, each the mentor and the protege will get a certificate, and I believe you will upload that certificate on the website on certified.sba.gov once it's completed. You execute a mentor protege agreement. So that mentor protege agreement is on the certified.sba website. There's actually a template for that. And essentially the mentor protege agreement just spells out what the mentor, what type of assistance, those 6 areas that I mentioned, it's going to spell out what areas that mentor is going to provide to that protege. Essentially, that's what the agreement is. And so the mentor is saying, I'm going to provide assistance with business development, with management and technical assistance. And then the protege agrees to that. And then in addition to that, the mentor identifies, I'm going to provide this business development center, business development assistance twice a month. And They spell it out in the agreement, and then the protege agrees to it and both parties sign. When you're ready to apply on certified.sba.gov, actually, when you submit your application and apply to join the MPP using the proteges. So actually applying to the program, you will use the proteges UEI. So the protege is the one that's going to be registered in the certified.sba.gov platform. Read the instructions, carefully make sure you provide all the necessary information. Your application, the processing time frame is currently 15 days for screening plus an additional 90 days for processing. So they will not start processing that application until they have a complete application. And so essentially that 15 days, they want to make sure they receive all of the documentation, and they may have additional questions. So you'll go back and forth with an analyst, but then once a complete package is received, then that's when that processing time clock starts. All right. Are there any questions, Jill? There shouldn't be any questions so far.
I don't see any in the chat.
Okay.
If any of you have questions, please put them in the chat, and we will get them answered for you.
Great, thank you. All right, so some additional information about applying to the program. Again, this is the same slide except in a visual. So again, it's just kind of visually mapping out what that's going to look like, selecting your mentor, registering SAM. I didn't realize this was the same slide, so we'll keep moving. So best practices for verifying eligibility. So you will receive a welcome letter. There's an active list of mentor protege agreements on the SBA on the certified website. So once you get on the website, you want to make sure that you're verifying your eligibility. There is a welcome letter, and then there's a list of all the active MPA agreements that have been approved on the SBA's website. So you can definitely check that out. And there's a link on the website for that. So if you may be wondering if your mentor protege program, if your mentor protege is still in place, if it has expired, you can definitely check the website, and then you can also email the SBA MPA at sba.gov. All right, the duration of the mentor protege agreement. So each MPA agreement may last up to 6 years from the date that SBA approves. And just to back up, all the mentor protege agreements are submitted to, there's a team at SBA headquarters. Jill and I work in the district. And so all of the MPA, anything related to the MPA program is handled at headquarters. And so once that is approved, that MPA agreement can last up to 6 years. And so if the initial mentor protege agreement is for less than 6 years, it can be extended. And both the mentor and the protege have to agree upon that and have a prior notification to SBA about the expiration date. So again, I've already mentioned that a protege may have 2 mentors at the same time, as long as those relationships do not conflict or compete with each other. All right, annual evaluation. So once your mentor protege agreement has been approved, you can maintain that mentor protege relationship for at least 1 year after SBA approves it. And we all know sometimes things may not necessarily work out. So in the event, if things don't work out for whatever reason, within that year time frame, either the mentor or the protege can annul that agreement. Just has to be done within that 1 year. And then that mentor protege agreement won't count against that protege, and they can seek after another mentor-protege relationship. Now, protege, if there may be challenges that the protege may have in their relationship with their mentor, the protege can request SBA to intervene on its behalf with its mentor if they may not believe that they're receiving the type of assistance as outlined in the agreement. And so, again, there are a number of tools that are available to the protege as it relates to this. Definitely, they can submit a proposed amendment. So maybe they may need to amend the initial agreement, which I did have a firm that just submitted an amendment to their initial agreement last week. And so if you do need to seek that, or if you do need assistance with that, you can reach out again to the Mentor Protégé team at SBA headquarters. You can voluntarily terminate the Mentor Protégé agreement again. And if you do it within that 1 year time, it can be annulled, and then that will not count against one of your MPA relationships. The mentor substitution by the protege, exchanging the existing mentor for a new one. That is another option. So you as a protege may feel that, hey, even though you have this agreement and the mentor spelled out that they were going to provide whatever type of assistance to you, maybe it's government contracting, business development assistance, and you feel that you're just not getting it, and you want to get a new mentor, you can do that. And again, you want to do that within that year's time. So to remain compliant, reach out to SBA before using one of these tools. And again, if you have questions, you can just email the MPP evaluations at sba.gov. And this is on the SBA's website, sba.gov. Look under contracting, look under Mentor Protégé Program, and then essentially all the slides kind of that I'm talking about, everything is listed on the website, including the email. All right, other considerations. Firms cannot obtain a federal contract with an approved Mentor Protégé agreement alone. So essentially the Mentor Protégé agreement, the MPA that firms enter into, is not the tool that protege is going to use if they're interested in pursuing a contract. Essentially, the Mentor Protégé agreement, the Mentor Protégé program is set up, is designed to allow that protege to get business development assistance from that mentor, essentially tools to assist them in learning more about government contracting and gaining more experience and expanding their capability and their core competencies. So in order to pursue a contract, that mentor and that protege have to enter into what's called a joint venture, as I mentioned. So again, I believe these things were already mentioned, kind of duplicate on this page. Joint venture, as I mentioned, if the mentor and the protege are interested in pursuing a contract, they form a joint venture. Now, if a protege is looking for a mentor that is large, they do have to enter into a mentor-protege relationship prior to entering to that joint venture. So that mentor-protege agreement does have to be approved before they can enter into a joint venture agreement and then bid on a contract. So the mentor-protege agreements, again, the MPP does not review or approve joint ventures. So the team at headquarters only approves the mentor-protege agreements. And then the joint ventures, if it's an 8A firm, the joint ventures are approved at the district. For sole source joint ventures, the competitives don't have to be approved, but you do have to submit the checklist for those. So if you are interested in entering into a joint venture relationship with your mentor and you're not an 8A firm, you will still need to seek that, enter into that joint venture agreement, have the documentation, and then a contracting officer can follow up with that and check to make sure that that has been approved. MPA joint ventures are granted exclusions from affiliation So definitely, again, if you're a small business and you're looking to go into a joint venture with a large firm, you do have to enter into a mentor protege agreement that has to be approved first so that you're not affiliated with your joint venture partner with that large firm. And so one of the wonderful benefits of entering into a joint venture relationship is that joint venture is good for 2 years, and you can pursue an unlimited amount of joint venture contracts. It's one of the wonderful benefits of that joint venture relationship. So also one of the wonderful benefits is that joint venture, if you as a small business do not have past performance, and you're looking to gain past performance through your mentor, getting assistance through your mentor, and then also entering into that joint venture relationship, the joint venture can take on the past performance of both joint venture parties. So if your mentor has that past performance, then that joint venture can take on that past performance from your mentor, and you can count that. So protege firms must perform at least 40% of a contract, and the mentor firm may perform up to 60%. All right, we're almost finished here. That's it for the Mentor Protégé program, the SBA Mentor Protégé program. And again, it's just a quick and dirty overview. I see Jill appearing on the screen. There's no question?
I don't see any yet.
We're almost finished here. In
Oh,
addition to, we're almost, I know Jill's ready to go. Jill and I were so used to talk. We're almost finished. In addition to the SBA's Mentor Protégé program, just wanted to acknowledge some of the other agencies that have Mentor Protégé programs: Department of Defense, which Joey talked about, NASA, the Department of Homeland Security, Federal Aviation Administration, Department of Transportation, DOT, and the Department of Energy also have Mentor Protégé programs. And just readiness, federal contracting readiness. I think I'm going to skip that. Yep, so we can get to our panel discussion, because that is, I believe, the most important. So this is my contact information. I am going to stop sharing, and I am going to turn it over to Jill.
I see Al's like, no, I'm out.
I see Al's like, oh no, what did I sign up for?
And that's the thing. Like, I want to ask the four of you, like our panelists, after hearing this technical presentation of the Mentor Protégé program, it's just got to be like,
just condense it.
Well, that's how it was for us doing the joint venture technical presentation this morning. When you hear it, you're just like, oh my, how do I even get started? So that's why we have this panel discussion, is to show you like two examples of successful mentor protege relationships. We're going to ask them how they got started, how they navigated all of the regulations that are attached to not only the mentor protege program, but also the resulting joint venture agreements. And Bruce, if you can turn your camera on and unmute yourself, and Charles, if you can do the same thing, please. But I will, well, since we have we have Alan and Al that are on and ready. I just want to say to the four of you, I really appreciate your time. And it's always great for us as SBA to teach the regulations of how to do it, and the fact that we have the platform for the Mentor Protege program. It's totally different to be the boots on the ground. So I would like for, I will go ahead and ask Al Powell from CPM Enterprises to introduce himself, and perhaps also introduce your mentor partner. And then Charles, I'll have you go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll see what's going on with Bruce. So Al, do you want to go ahead and get started?
Yes, thank you again. I always like participating and let people know how the journey is in this. My name is Albert Powell with CPM, and got started in the program many years ago, and my very well-known partner is
And he cut out.
You want me to?
Alan. Did I cut out?
Oh, there you are. Yep.
Okay. And I would say Alan Stevens is my partner and is my mentor, and he's been excellent and it's got me over the potholes and the hills and valleys, and we've gotten through this together, and I really appreciate his integrity. So we are not only grade school teammates, classmates, but lifetime friends.
Very good. Alan, would you like to go ahead and introduce Comtech and yourself?
First to thank you, honored to be here to participate and shed some highlights, some goals, some objectives of what the Mentor Protégé has meant to both Comtech, CPM, and the Mentor Protégé that we formed, DACOM, which has been a very successful Mentor Protégé relationship. Speaking on behalf of just understanding how this program works, being a prior protege, as Comtech grew in both the federal and local areas, markets, and agencies and the like. I had a successful engagement in the Mentor Protégé in the early prior decade from 2011 to 2015. Came out of the program, 8A program in 2017. Company was doing pretty well, but one of the bigger success factors was our Mentor Protégé that we have formed with another company. So as I was thinking about the potential sustainability of our current work, what was it that was needed, and in order to continue to scale the company, grow the company, and build a win-win scenario for any other companies. Mr. Powell and I just rejoined, and we'll get more into what areas we've been able to scale our work, scale our relationship, and grow our companies, not just individually, but in a joint manner with our joint venture, and looking forward to discussing that this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll go ahead and introduce Bruce Moyer with BISI Solutions. Bruce, would you like to also introduce your mentor?
Absolutely. I'm Bruce Moyer with BISI Solutions, and our mentor is SDI Tech, and with Chuck Cologne being the CEO of that organization. BISI Solutions was started 12 years ago with myself and my son. And we actually got our 8A right before the pandemic, which is good and bad, right? It allowed us a little bit of time to understand the environment, but at the same time, it gave us that kind of a year back to us on the program. I've known Chuck and the organization he's been with for a very long time, well before I started my own company. And I think so far we've had a pretty good go. We've actually been doing this a little over a year now, been in the program. And when we get into the meat of it, I'll quote you a couple of stacks that really kind of lay to bear, you know, how successful you can be if you pick the right mentor and both of you guys are working towards the team effort of being making both entities successful. Chuck?
Thanks, Bruce. I echo everything that Bruce said. One of the greatest things about this whole program that the Small Business Administration, Apex, and then having the right relationships is the key to making the whole program work. Is in our case, what we chose to do is we wanted to, as an organization, always give back, as we similar to Bruce's path and Alan's path. Start off as an 8A, was successful in a lot of the things that we had done. And during that time, we wanted to find an opportunity to grow as an organization, to give back to what SBA and what Apex does to support mission requirements. And so the key, and Bruce will echo this, is the key is having those long-term relationships with individuals that have a lot of the same core values and direction of where you want to go is the success of making any mentor protege or joint venture relationship work. So I highly encourage any company that's considering going into the protege program is to make sure that you work with companies who have a lot of the core values that you believe in as an organization, the direction you wish to go as a company, and that allows that marriage of what happens when that joint venture happens to be most successful. And I'll turn it back over to Jill.
Very good. I really appreciate your insight on that. And as I'm listening to the four of you, just introduce yourselves. Like Alan, one of the things I heard you say is that when you were early on, you started off as a protege.
Yes.
And so it is possible to start off as a protege in the Mentor Protégé program, and then just gain experience and wisdom and past performance enough to become a mentor. So you have done both, which is really the intent of the SBA Mentor Protégé program. So I love to hear that, and I will say I do have some prepared questions, but I would love to get questions from our attendees as well, because it's not very often that we do have active Mentor Protégé participants participate in a panel discussion where you can ask them questions from a small business perspective. So the first question I have is for the protégés, and it's really, what were you looking for in a mentor, and how did you decide that you wanted to pursue like a mentor protege agreement with the SBA?
So I can start out. Well, go ahead, Albert. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, personally, I was looking for a mentor who had a strong track record in government contracting, but who also shared the values around innovation and inclusion, and just not the quick one job and be done. I wanted to get into the program because I felt myself stuck after 2 or 3 years trying to make it on my own, that I realized you have to have people with experience. A lot of the contracts were looking for experience. So that's when I took out and probably went through about 3 or 4 people that I was interested in, and settled on my mentor.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of push stomp on what Joseph and what Shonda mentioned about their particular programs. Although we are part of the SBA program, we haven't availed ourselves of the capabilities of Apex and what they do over there, right? We were able to get our CMMC2 and some other things, our certification based on that. And of the 6 items that Shonda mentioned in her brief, our mentor has provided us 5 of those items, right? I won't let you know which they are, but they certainly provided us 5 of those items. So it's been a pretty good program. Now back to what we were looking for. I need to give you just a little bit of my background. I'm a retired Air Force, been retired 20 years, plus years at this point. And I went to work for a fairly large company in the beginning, worked for those for a couple of years, left that, went to work for a much smaller 8A, got familiar with that program, and then decided to start my own business. And then I kind of put out there with some of the partners and relationships that I had in both those jobs that, hey, when the time is right, that's something we're interested in. But we weren't really, BISI Solutions weren't really actively looking for mentors at that time. And we were approached, we actually have 2 mentors, and we were approached at that time almost simultaneously by those organizations. And now I'm gonna go to what Chuck said. I think they approached us because they knew who we were and what kind of company we were, right? And that the phrase I like to use is, a lot of mentors that I've seen in this program, they kind of use you as a tool, right? They've got a toolbox of things they like to do to go after business. They want to use you as a screwdriver, and not only a screwdriver, but a Phillips head screwdriver, and not only a Phillips head, but a 2-inch Phillips head screwdriver. And from my perspective, I wouldn't join a relationship like that, right? Because number one, it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And then number 2, you've got to look at that person every week, and you can't have some hidden agenda or some anger back there based on not happening. things are happening. And sort of, as I mentioned before, kind of opening up the kimono a little bit, since, like I said, STI and BISI have been in this agreement a little less than 2 years. We've bid on 9 different opportunities in excess of 500 million. We've won over 300 million in contract value since we've got that. We just got an announcement today about the Oasis 8A program that our JV is a part of, and we're waiting on almost another $600 million that is actually in source selection. And if you look at those numbers, you can see that we are pumping out, right? We, as a team, not as an individual company, we are aggressively going after business and pumping out a proposal a month or 2 a month as a team, right, to make that happen. And that's, to me, that's how you become successful. That's what you do, and not going back to my toolbox analogy, and not getting with someone who just wants to use you for one item, and then it's a hit it and quit it, and now you're stuck there, and you've used up your joint venture, that one of those slots as a small business, and you'll never get that back again.
I heard both of you mention, well, I heard Al mention just when looking for a mentor, it was important to work with a business that it was familiar with government contracts, with federal government. Over the years, I've worked with businesses that are interested in Mentor Protégé, and they may want to work together. It might be a large business and a small business, but the large business may never have done government contracting before, federal government. And it's a totally different skill set to do business with the federal government. So while I will encourage them to think about forming a mentor protege agreement, I also encourage them to have discussions with each other, because if one of you has experience in federal government, that's great. If neither of you have experience in federal government, it'll be challenging. So I think that having that federal government experience helps. And then I also heard both of you talking about being culturally aligned. It's so important. Because one of the reasons why, SBA does not identify mentors for proteges or proteges for mentors, we do like introductions between businesses, but really that is ultimately up to the businesses whether or not they want to partner with each other. It's because that back office interaction can be quite a bit different, and you need to make sure that however your back office works, it's aligned with each other. So I think Al, you were the one that you were doing a presentation one time, and you talked about that during one of the panels, that just the importance of that. So similarly, I have a question for mentors. What are you looking for in a protege? Because I know, as being actually at a stage in your business where you could be a mentor, you're often approached by companies that would love to work with you as their protege. So what is it that you look for, and what things really make you decide that it's not really for you at that time, if that makes sense? So Alan, do you want to start?
Sure. Thank you. Piggybacking off of just some of the things that's being said now, I think it's true value propositioning, meaning it has to be a win-win for both parties. You have a large company or a company that's mature, Comtech, STI. We have a pretty rigorous systems of controls, management, accounting, quality systems in order to compete in the federal landscape. With that, you have to maintain a certain set of criteria that ensures that you're meeting the mark. In the federal market, with well over $175 billion being spent into small business, they try to weed out who is the best of the best and get the cream rise to the top in order to, as Bruce mentioned, when dollar values and revenues of that nature or that magnitude. So with that, you have to have clear vision and be intuitive about your goals, set clear objectives. And one of the bigger things that I think is a success criteria is establish some SMART goals. Those SMART goals should be on what are the true missions of the joint venture? Are they aligned with each other? And of course, as you're assisting a protege who might not have the acquisition skills, the business development skills, the marketing skills and the like, ensuring that we all are in this together. One of the things that are, I think, successful for our particular joint venture is we meet regularly. We meet to discuss the good, the bad, and even things that need to be buttoned up. And one of the bigger things I think we did was we agreed that during these joint meetings, we must establish what are our takeaways, what are our follow-ups, and what are the things we need to continue to improve on. And as a goal. And Mr. Powell and myself having similar culture, similar backgrounds, similar joint capabilities to build not just a company that compete in this very complex government landscape, but share the same goals that assure our families and our work balance life across our companies are the same.
Thank you. Chuck, did you want to add anything to what you're looking for in a protege?
I'm gonna say spot on, Alan. You hit the nail on the head, and I've known Alan for a number of years, and we're exactly on the same page of what's important on the protege. The goal is the missions of not just the mentor and the protege, but also the customer that we're working with. So it's really important that those conversations that happen at the mentor and protege level, you're jointly working with what the mission requirements are for the customer that you're trying to support. And one of the things that I think all of us, be a mentor or protege, are all on the same page on is understanding our customer, understanding their needs, understanding our culture, and making sure that all of it meets the requirements of the mission requirements of what our customer is that we're trying to hit. And that's what I love about working with Bruce. That's what I've loved about in the past. Some of my work I've done with Alan. And I know he's doing an awesome job with what he's doing with his mentor protege agreement. It all fits. The goal is to make sure that we're meeting mission requirements for the customer. And in the DoD space, that's making sure that the warfighter is getting what they need to successfully go with what their missions are.
Very good. Do you have any recommendations for businesses that are interested in the Mentor Protege Agreement, the SBA's Mentor Protege Agreement program? Like we get calls all the time, like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor. Where can I find one? And so, we tell them, hey, you need to go to networking events, trade shows, trainings. So we can kind of create the platform for it for people to meet each other, but not really those conversations of how to decide how to approach that topic, or how would any recommendations for number one, finding a mentor, or having that initial conversation to even talk about it with another business? Anybody that would
Jill,
like to respond to that?
Jill, what you said right there is spot on. The SBA and Apex are doing the right things of saying, here's some folks to consider. But it's just like any other business development. It's all about relationships. And the key is for folks to talk to each other, communication. You have to say as an individual company what you're wanting, where you're wanting to go. Sometimes there's hits, sometimes there's misses, but all of them are important relationships to have. The customer generally gives a really good picture of things, of what they like and who they like and where they would like to see their programs to go. And I know that all four of us, be it mentors or proteges, are all on the same page with this. The key is understanding what each other's about, understanding what the customer wants, and talking about it. And that's why I think that the panel that we got here today has been so successful in what they're doing. We regularly talk, always are talking with each other as to what our customers want, what we want, and how can we create a mutually beneficial solution.
Very good. So what I'm also hearing you say, oh, go ahead, Alan.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. Spot on again, and duly, I might add, I think it's relationship management with the customers. As Chuck cannot had hit it more on the head. It's all about serving your customers, meeting their requirements. And as you develop a partner relationship management with your mentor, making sure that your partner protege understand that this customer that you have is they don't care about a new company. They want to make sure that their requirements are made and that relationship is built. And Jill, you also mentioned, I think early on trade shows are critical. Meeting more that a contract officer see you out there in the field, shaking hands and networking. They recognize that, but I might add that there are, especially larger companies, they have portals that if you're young and newer or trying to provide entry into the federal or state local workspace, go in, register, go to their website, call their small business officer. That will lead, I think, an extension to a relationship that even happens at the contracting partner and customer side.
And one quick side note to that, one similarity I've seen with mentors and proteges is proteges in year 1 to 3 and mentors in years 6 from 6 to 9 are the common people that normally shake hands and try to get together. And you find that at the networking, you find that old saying, the old sheep knows the road, little lamb must follow. Protege must get mentors who are seasoned and who understands the value of their customers and need to understand the value of a protege that's going to come along and have that same mentor and finish this out. And that's just a common thing that I've seen from New Orleans to things that we do where people meet each other and make the agreements.
So would you say like preparation is key in terms of having those first conversations with each other? So I know when we are part of like OSDBU panels, the agencies will say, you need to know our mission. And I have to sneeze. I'm trying really hard not to. Okay. All right, I've got it. I knew if I said it out loud, it would go away. I think and you guys can let me know, like, what's a good way to approach the mentor? Hey, I have this certification, that certification. Let's form a mentor protege. Or I see that I've looked at your website. I see that you do this type of business, that type of business. Let's talk about partnering. I mean, is it important, like how you approach each other, too? Can that get the conversation going?
I'll start on that one. From my perspective, from a mentor perspective, it's about finding those similarities in the organization that have cultures that are very similar, and assisting what the mission needs to be. I can say from a mentor perspective, if they don't align, it's probably not the best relationship. I'll assist the protege that may be talking to me on another company to consider. But from a mentor perspective, if they're not aligned, it makes it very hard if you're successful in winning work if you're not all on the same page. And so that from a mentor perspective, and I think proteges will say the same thing, everybody needs to be on the same page as to where they're going, because it makes it hard to manage projects if you're not all working in stride with what the mission requirements are.
Very good.
And I would also say that the mentor protege discussion shouldn't be your first discussion, right?
Thank you.
With STI and our other mentor, we teamed on several other opportunities, and actually were either a sub or prime relationship with them on several other opportunities before we went there. That way, you can align with what Chuck just mentioned, right? We were able to say, okay, these guys take care of business. You can count on them. I don't have to look at every I, although you should look at every I and cross every T. You don't have to do it all the time because you know you can trust them, right? They're that kind of entity. And so I would highly recommend that you team with them, whether it's a subprime relationship or you're a teammate on someone else's prime, so that you can see how they operate.
Thank you. Yes. You don't want to dive into the mentor protege discussion at first meeting. because that just that might say, hey, I really need a lot of help. Can you please do everything for me? Like you need to lead up to that type of, because mentor protege, it's almost like a marriage. In the joint venture agreement that results in it, it's you got to date first before you dive into that. So did you partner with each other before? And for CPM and Comtech, did you partner with each other before forming the Mentor Protege? And the same thing for BISI and STI Tech. Did you do some subcontracting work together before forming the Mentor Protege?
Yes, as Bruce alluded to, we didn't just, although me and Mr. Powell have a long history of knowing each other, we didn't just form a Mentor Protege. We worked on more than a few contracts where either I subbed him or we jointly bid on other ones. So we had probably a couple year history of working, understanding project programmatics, administrative nuances, contracting pitfalls, and customer nuances that we had to learn, kind of learn together on how to manage. Combining our teams, his management team, our executive and program team together, making sure that they fit together, make sure they work well together, and we hit the mission and the goals. That helped a lot.
Very good. Chuck and Bruce, did your two companies partner with each other ahead of time?
Absolutely, we did, and I think that relationship definitely made both Bruce and I comfortable with who we are and where we were going and what we wanted to do. And I'll use the term that dating time of understanding who each other are was pretty important to determine, does it make sense to do the next step? And I would encourage all proteges to do the same thing, that do take the time. It's a great program that the Small Business Administration has put together with the MPP that they've done. So, and you only get a couple chances for it. So make sure it's really the right decision of your strategic goals, of what you want, of where you want to go, how to support your customer base that you wish to deal with. It's a really important decision, and don't take it lightly to look for the easy button. Think of it as a strategic way to actually leverage everything the SBA and Apex does with what they're trying to do with putting folks together to meet mission requirements of what your customer base does.
Right, thank you. If anyone has any questions from the audience, please put them in the chat. But I would also like to know, once you got started with because there's a lot of, we get a lot of questions about timing. When you apply for Mentor Protege, should you also be applying for the joint venture at the same time, or how did you navigate that? Did you decide to apply for both at the same time, or did you wait until your Mentor Protege agreement was approved and then applied for the joint venture?
When we signed up for the program, it was in the transition, if you remember, Jill, from I guess there was one set of regulations, and they pulled everything up to the.
You always got caught in the crosshairs of that. Right. Yes.
I am the rabbit.
Yes, you.
I am. And so that presented its own set of challenges. I believe in the new program, it's not so important to identify what that joint venture is going to be right away, right? Because before, you had to designate the opportunities you were going after and have an operating agreement that addressed those opportunities. Whereas now it's a little more wide open, where you have the Mentor Protege. You can start the joint venture. The time, that 2-year clock that was mentioned earlier by both Joseph and Shonda, doesn't start until you get your first award. So you can start it right away. What I would suggest is that you plan everything at least 2 years before you're trying to go after your first opportunity. And then any other opportunities that you see, you just form the regular teaming agreement and go after those, which is what we did. And we were successful on 1 or 2 of those, making those happen. And then not only did we get to see, okay, so how do we play together, but also there are a lot of surprises in the program. Jill, as you can attest to, when we were awarded a joint venture contract, well, the contracting officers, they're not as inculcated in the program, right? They don't know the ins and outs of the program. And your joint venture doesn't get recognized with all the certifications that both companies put forward until you get that first contract, right? And so even though technically you're allowed, so even though we won, one of the first ones we won was an 8A contract, they actually originally told us that you can't win because you're not eligible. Our joint venture wasn't eligible because it wasn't listed in that small business database. But Jill came forward with her cape on, and she saved the day. And we've actually run into that on subsequent awards as well. And you just got to be ready and prepared with the knowledge, so you can sort of protect yourself first, right? You can be your own first line of defense. But certainly, the Small Business Administration came in and helped us navigate through those wickets. So I would say make sure you start well in advance of when you're planning to go after that first opportunity.
I forgot about that, actually, Bruce. Thank you for bringing that up, because the regulations, you're like, I'll never forget that. Yeah. So the regulations changed around joint venture agreements. SBA no longer approves 8A joint ventures, except for 8A sole source joint ventures. So what Bruce was referencing was the dynamic small business search. If you're not familiar with it, it is a great market research tool that procurement agencies use, but also it's SBA's portal. So if a business becomes certified in the 8A program, service disabled veteran-owned small business, HubZone, or woman-owned, we will upload that into the dynamic small business search, and only the SBA can control that. And for joint venture agreements, because SBA doesn't approve them in advance anymore, like you may form your joint venture agreement, but it won't show up as 8A until you get your first contract award. And I want everyone to know that this is not just for 8A, as we just know a lot of 8A companies because Shonda and I are business opportunity specialists and work with 8A companies. But the Mentor Protégé agreement is open to all small businesses. However you form your relationship or your resulting joint venture agreement, if you decide to do that, would be based on like you as the business owner. If you are woman-owned, then you could form a joint venture agreement that is a woman-owned small business and small business and so forth, like 8A or HubZone. The joint venture, it has to be 51% owned and controlled by. In the case of Mentor Protégé, it would be by the protege. So hopefully that cleared it up. I'm sure it didn't. It's always very muddy in government contracting. But again, if anybody has any questions, please let me know. And communication is super important. I know in the Mentor Protégé agreement, SBA says, okay, mentor and protege, you have to tell us how often you're going to meet. And every year you're going to have to give an evaluation of how the relationship is going. How often do you meet as a group to talk about contracting opportunities or just anything having to do with the relationship or the joint venture agreements?
Well, I know when you can go. You can go ahead.
You sure? Okay. What we for the Comtech CPM formed as DACOM, I wanted to add, Jill, before I answered your question on the table there, is that the DACOM also can compete under the HubZone set-aside arena, being that our Mentor Protégé was approved and our joint venture has the capability to approve, to win work, go after work and bid it under not just the 8A, but also the HubZone. To the second part of your question, we meet, Mr. Powell and I meet as phone calls need to happen. as we also meet at least 2 to 3 times a week to discuss current opportunities that we're doing from our business development department. There's also back-end meetings from the administrative staff, being that we share quite a few resources across our companies. Our accounting team meets separately pretty regularly, at least bi-weekly, as well as due to the fact that we have a GSA schedule, as well as in pursuit of CMMI and getting prepared for the Grade C MMC certification. We meet from the quality side at least once a month to discuss some of the changing areas, and the various departments meet even without executive oversight from Mr. Powell and myself pretty frequently, at least 2 to 3 times a month. It's needed because of all the things that are going on either at the program level or in all the stuff that's going on across all the compliance changes in the federal landscape.
So like 2 to 3 times a week, but also just among your without executives as well. So there's like a constant open line of communication, it sounds like.
Yes.
It's a lot of fishing poles in the pond with us. Always trying to catch something and stay on top of something. And then personally, we go to ball games together and different things. So it's truly a family atmosphere, even on top of all the meeting and discussions and stuff. So that's what happens in a good, tight Mentor Protégé program or JV. You're connected as truly as one.
All right, we meet. We have a standing meeting that's once a week, and of course, we work on proposals. We meet at 1 o'clock on Saturday morning, 1 o'clock a.m. Saturday morning, work on proposals.
Oh boy.
Right? I don't know if I'm gonna go to ball games with Chuck because I'm jealous of his hair. I don't have any hair. So. But other than that, I would echo what the two Al's said in that there's almost no distinction between the two companies from the other than the actual back office where you're doing the billing and all that. And they have conversations as well. But most of the time, our business development teams are locked in, and our strategic teams are strategically our organizations are locked in. So it's almost one organization when you think about it that way.
Absolutely, and I echo what both Alan and Bruce and Al are all saying. Is the key is, and that's what makes a successful mentor protege arrangement is you really are a team that needs to kind of be all in on it. If you go in with just a little bit and you're timid towards how you're going to have that relationship, my suggestion is you'll be unsuccessful. In the case of STI, we have multiple mentor proteges, and I can say that in the example of Bruce, that I would consider that my most successful one in the way that we work together. We've had the ones where it's just very, very timid and as to how we're going to touch with each other, and that's okay. That's part of the courtship that happens in the Mentor Protégé program because it needs to be beneficial to both sides, and everybody has to be comfortable with it. But when you find that protege and mentor relationship that works really well for you, definitely work together because it is like a big family. Could be ball games, even though you made a comment about my hair. That's really funny, Bruce. It is fun to and we do lots of fun things together. It could be ball games. It could be happy hours. It could be joint Christmas parties. It could be all kinds of different things. But the key is you got a group of people who actually believe in the same mission of where you're heading to go, and that's the key to making things successful.
It sounds like everything else you got to put the work in. I just know that I'll say 1 o'clock Jill is nothing like 1 o'clock a.m. Jill is nothing like 1 o'clock p.m. Jill. So I'd say like at 1 a.m. you're going to get the dirty version that needs to get stuff done. And that's what families are. That's what good relationships are. Is being able to call on each other like that if needed. Like so sounds like you're available to each other when it's crunch time, and you have to make decisions quickly, or you know, whatever you have to do in the business relationship. So I appreciate that. I have one final question, then we can start winding down unless we get some questions from the audience. I know that we will also have this as a recording, and so that anyone that had to miss it today can access the recording on the Ohio Business Matchmaker website. So what advice do you have for businesses that might be, and this isn't necessarily Mentor Protégé, just based on all the wisdom of the panel, like what advice do you have for businesses that are trying to tap into this for the first time, just federal government in general? Because if they've listened into the webinars that we've had this past couple weeks, I'm sorry, this is our second month, but it can just be like, oh my gosh, information on top of information on top of information. Like, I'm not sure I want to do this. Like, what advice can you give them to pursue government contracting, or what things helped you when you were getting started?
You got to have patience. Things are not going to happen overnight. Seems like paperwork is constantly coming. Opportunities come sometime at the late in the evening and up to 1 o'clock in the morning, like you say. But you have to have patience with this. Don't get so overwhelmed. You use our sources. Reach out to you, Sandra, for his questions, and you just got to have patience. You want to see the success at the end, but you got to go through the jungle to get through it. There's nobody on this panel that can tell you it's just that easy. And people want to get into this and want success on the very first contract. Now that happens with some groups, and sometimes it won't, but you have to be patient.
So I'll jump in next. So, and it's just another iteration of what Al just said, right? It's a grind, and you have to be prepared for the grind. But what that means, and I'll just use my military background, is you need to prep for it. You know, it's a grind, right? So you get your certifications, you build those relationships with both the government and with vendors, right? Because those are critical in forming the teaming, but also getting your name out there. As far as our organization, we waited quite a while to get our 8A, and then we waited a significant amount of time before we did the Mentor Protégé. But in between those times, we got our CMMC2, we got our ISO 9001. You know, we're getting our ISO 27001. We're DCAA compliant, right? We've got that audit as well. So you know, we feel like we're going to be successful because we prepped for success, right? We're ready to get there and not hoping something will fall in our Easter basket. Although that's nice too, but that's not the plan.
Right. All right. Well, I certainly
I did want to.
Yep, I was gonna.
I thought Chuck was going to go there. Sorry. I'll just say this. Someone mentioned the easy button. This is not an easy button kind of industry. It could be feast or famine for those that recognize, as Mr. Powell said, it won't happen overnight. It takes consistency. It takes rigor. It takes a grind, as Bruce mentioned, that sometimes, and it takes being able to sustain losses and failure. Those that too much is given, much is required. I think in some ways. I think also in the business, at least at the federal level, you have to have certifications, whether it's a Security Plus from an information technology side or from a quality side from your corporation, ISO 27,000, 9,000, 20,000. Those are things. I'm glad you're getting that, Bruce. I know how hard that is. But we have them all, and we were able to share that with our protege, as well as the DCA audit. When the federal government is doing work with you, that you have to have your books aligned. So I think overall, something that we used to couldn't talk about because it was maybe a forbidden word. Learn AI. AI is a driving factor behind not just our basic society, but how we do business, how the government is doing business, how they're leveraging, how they're doing it. So if anyone's out there, learn it from a perspective, but do not lose the core capabilities of basic business building. The building blocks are still critical, but it can help you, but it can be a hindrance if you rely too much on it. But it is here, I think, here to stay. And I think one final thing is start small sometime. You know, Mr. Bruce indicated what the joint venture and what they've won. That didn't happen overnight. Comtech as well as Daycom started with one body projects. Then they went to two body projects, and next thing you know, there might be 50 body projects. But thinking that you can get to the top, you might have to start at the bottom and go through the rigor, the 1 a.m. proposals or weekend working to get there. And it can be very beneficial. It really can. I think you're looking at two joint companies that have done well, but 4 companies that have individually learned how to compete in the marketplace, and forming a joint venture has been beneficial. Very, very. Thank you.
And then I'll add the final comments here. Alan, and Bruce, everything that they've said, 100% spot on. So the only thing I'll add to it is this: as a protege company or someone starting getting in the federal space, you got to have that fire, that burn, that desire to provide awesome services in the technical expertise that you offer to the customer. Absolutely, there's no such thing as an easy button. You're going to have to roll your sleeves up. You're going to have to do all the hard work. And right now, you got 4 folks here that are on this panel who have started their companies and have been extremely successful in what they're doing, in their beliefs of where they want to go and what they want to do. It's all about relationships, communications, and deliver what you say. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to say something that you can't deliver on. And as long as that whole package of stuff occurs, awesome stuff happens for organizations who get into these programs. Again, A+ to SBA, A+ to Apex, and what they're attempting to do. And I know that we're going to all work by working together. We're going to do some great things for our customer base.
Right, I really appreciate that. Alan, I was just thinking about a panel you did a couple years ago where you were talking about the win rate for every, I think you said like every 10 proposals submitted, there might be one win, or I can't remember exactly, but it was just like, just to give the example of, you can't put all of your eggs in one basket. Do you remember that at all?
Yes, we call it in our business a P-win factor. The P-win factor said if you don't bid, you won't win. If you don't pursue, there's no chance of being successful. But in your pursuit of success, you want to prep, you want to plan, but in the market that we're in now, requirements change, customers, the customer landscape, contractors are contract representatives are being forced out. So you have to be prepared. And one of the things that I think we can't emphasize, if it doesn't work one way, try another way. It could be beneficial to you. Very, very.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. I don't see any questions from the attendees right now. But I do appreciate just your wisdom, your insight. I just want to say hats off to all of you for making yourselves available for this. I really appreciate it. We all do at the SBA Apex. We appreciate it because, again, we teach the regulations. We aren't the boots on the ground, because we always get the questions of like kind of the inner workings of contracts, and that's not what we do. We give you the high level, we give you the regulations, we do give you the networking events. So I think it's always great when we can partner with our small businesses. So if you're able to come to the Matchmaker next week, I'd love to see you there. For those of you that are in the audience and you'll be there next week, I look forward to meeting with all of you. But Again, thank you for your time. I think we'll just go ahead and end the webinar.
Thank you. And we appreciate you and Sandra,
Thank
and
you so
Apex,
much.
everybody's
Thanks,
help.
Joseph. Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
All
lot,
right.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Ciao.